I truly believe that AI, it actually enables creativity. AI as a whole helps the humans like actually unleash their creativity. And with HeyGen specifically, we're not meant to replace humans, but it's meant to make it much easier for them to create the video.
Hey, my guest on this episode is Holly Xiao. She is head of B2B Marketing at HeyGen. She runs the enterprise marketing function over there. They're a very cool company in the AI video space.
And so we help businesses of all sizes, from creators and solopreneurs to Fortune 500s, fast track video creation without the usual production headaches.
I've been working on making my AI DG, the AI avatar of myself. Maybe you'll see that soon. I'm trying to make myself a rapper. Not really working, but had an awesome conversation with Holly about her career, landing her job at HeyGen.
But yeah, so somebody reached out to me at HeyGen and I was like, I've never heard of HeyGen, but I just did my research on it. And I remember thinking like, oh, wow, this is so cool.
What's interesting right now about AI and video for marketers, why she doesn't think that all this stuff about AI and marketing is negative. She sees it as an opportunity for creatives and creators to find new ways to spend their time, and hopefully we can spend our time on the creative and the strategy versus all the kind of mundane tasks of marketing. And then I talked to her about what's working at HeyGen right now, like as an AI first company, what are the marketing plays that they're running? And no surprise, it's a bunch of things that we've all seen working for us and the other people that I've had on this podcast, from webinars still working, events still working. One of the biggest things that's not working is SEO, and we dive into that and what it means in this world of search and LLMs.
I think we're doing things right. It's really just this like rise in LLMs. And to your point, like the AI, Google, there's just like a whole different market landscape now that we all have to like kind of adjust to with this like rise of AI.
Here's my conversation with Holly. I think you're going to like it. Enjoy this episode.
1, 2, 3, 4. Exit.
Hi, Holly.
Hi, Dave.
How are you? Good to see you.
Good to see you. I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. I just was we were just talking offline because I was messing around with HeyGen and having a lot of fun.
Yes. And I love that you're doing that, because I feel like your whole experience is definitely what a lot of our users are going through too.
Yeah. And I just wanted to have you on. Like HeyGen we have no affiliation with Exit5, but this is like you invited me to be a guest on a webinar, and then like we had kind of reconnected through that, and I was like, I gotta have you on my podcast. So you're here hanging out. It's more fun to not host. You get to just hang out at work and just talk about marketing with me. So
yeah, very excited to have this conversation for sure.
Okay, just so I can get it on the record, can you just introduce yourself, like first name, last name, what do you do for work? And then that'll just give us a nice little sound clip to build off of.
Yeah, for sure. I'm Holly Xiao, and I lead the B2B marketing team at HeyGen, which is an AI video generation platform. And so we help businesses of all sizes, from creators and solopreneurs to Fortune 500s, fast track video creation without the usual production headaches.
Okay, cool. Love it. And your background, man, how did I first meet you? Were you at Eventbrite?
I was at Eventbrite when this was back in the day when I was still in marketing operations. And I remember my manager saying like, hey, we need more MQLs. How do we generate more MQLs? And I was like, all right, let's look into chatbots, because like chatbots was becoming a thing. Intercom was already pretty established there. And I remember looking at Drift, and that was pretty much how we first met.
Okay. How did you get into marketing ops?
Oh my gosh. I like lots of different, like basically it was not a linear path where like, I don't even know where to start. I feel like, so I'll start in college, since a lot of people are graduating or actually going to college this fall, but I feel like I switched paths like 2 to 3 times. I went to UCSC to study medicine because that's what they're known for. Took Chem 2 and was like, nope, this is not for me. So then I thought about going to law, and I got a job at a law firm and was fully planning to take the LSAT. But literally the night before I was supposed to take the test, I called my parents. It was like, law is not for me. I'm not taking the LSAT. And I just remember at the law firm, I was helping them with marketing adjacent tasks. So one of the lawyers was an aspiring country singer and asked me to pitch a song to radio stations as my job at this law firm.
Wait a second.
Yeah, it was kind of wild thinking back on it. But at the time I was like, oh yeah, this is normal, right? Like this is what people do. But yeah, so here I was researching radio stations in San Diego and calling them to basically like sell them on playing this person's song. And I thought it was like kind of just ridiculous, but also fun. And that was actually how I ultimately chose marketing as my path. And yeah, so out of college, my first job was at this really small, like residential solar company. And I started there as like a marketing communications manager to work on their website revamp and external strategy. But pretty much like a month or two after I was hired, there was like a huge round of layoffs, and I was the only marketer left at the company. And so I realized that the biggest gap that we had in marketing was actually in automation operations. So that's how I landed in marketing operations. I basically Googled my way around to teach myself how to do it.
Love that. That's like me too. Just figure you just everybody. I feel like there's few people like, few people were like, yeah, I knew I was going to be in marketing when I was 7 years old and I, had to lemonade. Like, I think those stories are more nonsense. I think what happens is eventually you realize you have to get a real job and make money in this world and like and find a way to create a living. And we kind of all get there differently. And then for me, it was like I got a marketing job because it was the only company that would pay me, and it was like a paid internship. And I was like, okay, I can at least sell this to my parents and be like, well, I got a real job. They're paying. It's $10 an hour or whatever. And I got in this company, and it was like I was using my skills as a writer and a communicator, and I didn't really know those were like cool skills to have in the business world. And I did really well. I was at a PR company, and I like got coverage for my clients, and people started to like me internally. And I was like, oh, I didn't think work could be fun. It like feels good. So I'm just wondering, like, was there a moment in that early marketing ops journey where like you did something at work at this company and people were like, Holly, like, let's go. You're kind of good at this thing. And like, that kind of is what ends up, being a building block for you to turn into a career.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like for me, what I loved about it was the problem solving aspect of it. And I think that just goes for a lot of the marketing roles, but it's so operational. It's like, if you send this email, this is what happens, this is how it triggers. So like that was a lot more like, there's a lot more logic going into that. And I just remember, I think it was like a customer, I don't even remember what it was now, but I think it was something related to customer emails because like basically at the different stages of the residential solar installation, there are a lot of like logistical things that you have to do or like steps that you have to take. And so I basically like created the whole process there and like created triggers for the first time at the company using Sugar CRM, which I don't know if you ever heard of Sugar CRM, but it's basically like a Marketo, but just for very small companies. And I remember that was a moment where people were like, oh my gosh, this is great. And we got a lot of great feedback from customers saying like, it was really helpful to know like, oh, a stage got approved so that they can move on to the next stage. So that was probably the moment where I was like, oh, I'm pretty good at this. And yeah, that's kind of how I kept in marketing operations and ultimately ended up at Eventbrite.
Okay. So then you go to Eventbrite. Eventually you went to Drift, AKA Sales Loft, and yada, yada, yada. Now you're at HeyGen, and man, I'm so fascinated and interested in what's happening in the AI space and marketing. And you've been there almost a year. How did you land this job at HeyGen? Like, and did you know you wanted to go to an AI company?
Yeah. So HeyGen, actually, I wasn't really looking at the time. And somebody from HeyGen had reached out and say, hey, I think you will be really great for this role. And the role that I was actually applying to was a solutions marketing role. So leading the solutions marketing team, because as you can tell, HeyGen is a very long, like we have so many long tail use cases. And so the business really wanted to start focusing more on like solutions and use cases and like teams specifically to be more, customized and personalized in the messages that we're sending out. But yeah, so somebody reached out to me at HeyGen and I was like, I've never heard of HeyGen, but I just did my research on it. And I remember thinking like, oh, wow, this is so cool. So kind of like what you're doing right now of like playing around with it and creating these videos. I did the exact same thing. And I remember showing my husband of like me speaking like 5 different languages, but it still sounds like me. He's like, oh my God, this is crazy. And so, yeah, I was like, okay, this is a really cool product. And, coming from a product marketing background, it's really important to me to work on a product that I'm personally really passionate and excited about. So that checked the box. And then, yeah, talked to a lot of the people here, Joshua, our CEO. And it just felt like it was meant to be in the sense of, I didn't know that I wanted to ride this AI wave because I know like a lot of people are just like, oh, I want to get an AI. But I think for me, it's, how do I work on a product that I'm personally really excited about? And I think personally, it's just like a really, really cool vision and future to kind of what is happening here.
Okay, I want to talk about this use case. You mentioned a lot of long tail use cases. I want to get to that, but I'm just trying to weave through some of these pieces. And then your role specifically, can you just fill us in on, whatever you're allowed to share? Just like the overall company structure. You are head of B2B marketing. Like, what does that mean? Where does that sit in the broader marketing org? Who do you report to? I'm just curious about some of the structure of the company and team and where marketing sits first.
Yeah, for sure. So the company itself, we were much more, so originally we were much more creator focused. So a lot of the people who are using us and our customers and our users are more of like the creators and the solopreneurs of the world. And so we have a growth team who actually supports that side of the business. And for my role, which is more on the B2B side, I support the SLG side of the business. So these are kind of like, how do we start to move up market? How do we sell to more corporate teams and like marketers and L&D teams at these enterprise companies? And so that's kind of where my team really focuses on.
And is there like who runs marketing at the company?
We don't really have like a CMO that like runs it. So it's kind of
It's
me
an
running.
AI agent. There's an
Yeah.
AI agent CMO.
Yeah. So it's basically me on the B2B side. And then I work really closely with my peer, Nick Warner, who runs the growth side of things. And it's kind of the two of us together.
Okay, so do you have to are you talking about marketing to the CEO, to the founder?
Yeah. So I meet pretty regularly with Joshua, and Joshua comes from an engineering background. But it's so great because as a CEO, he's like just very naturally curious. So he'll ask you a ton of questions, and then you'll be like, this is why. Here's how I think about it. And it's actually kind of interesting having marketing conversations with him because he thinks like an engineer, right? And so it's a very different world, I think, between marketing and engineering. It's really cool to kind of see that come
I
together.
love that though. I think that now I've seen a bunch of different ways now, and Elias from agency and Drift Days, obviously, and I think he was the CTO at Drift, but he was very involved in the marketing and the company vision with David, who was the founder and CEO. And it is very refreshing. It can be uncomfortable because I think the engineering mindset is very much like question everything. Why do it this way? Can't you do it this way? But I think especially in B2B marketing, we have so many things that are just kind of like best practices, or we do them because we've always done them that way. And one of the biggest parts of my career was in the early days of Drift, being like literally one of the only marketing people at the company around 10 or 12 engineers. You kind of, that culture becomes contagious, and it's like all these things. It's like, oh, I know, I'm sharing an idea with someone, like, I don't know how to do that, and then engineers like, oh, well, we can just grab that data for you. Do you want that, or do you want me to just like spin this up at the end of the day? I'm like, you can just do that. And so I think that I love working with engineering folks and product folks because I do think they kind of allow me to move a little bit faster, and I like to do more of the growth and entrepreneurial type of marketing stuff. I'm not as good at the like sit in a meeting and this is what MQLs are and all the kind of nonsense.
Sure. We're actually currently defining what MQLs are here at HeyGen.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, all right. So that's cool. So there's kind of there's two of you in the marketing side. One of you is responsible for like the self-service. I just signed up this morning and spent $288 on my credit card. I did put referral source Holly, just so you know. I hope you get credit for that. And you're
I'm going to ask him for credit.
ask for credit.
Yeah.
How do you explain like what is different about you have like the B2B side, and that's where you want to sell HeyGen to other companies. Um, Tell me like I'm an idiot, which I am. Actually, one guy wrote on this podcast one time, he was like, how was this guy ever a CMO? He asked the most basic questions. I'm like, because most people sitting at home, like you want to hear the actual answers. Like, God. So, maybe talk about the difference in like your job and the go-to-market motion of selling B2B in HeyGen versus selling not B2B. What do they call that, by the way? Self-service?
Self-service, yeah, growth. Yeah. So I think and again, this is so different at different companies, but the way that it's broken out here at HeyGen is, for Nick and his growth team, what they care about most is just driving anybody and everybody to HeyGen. So anybody who signs up is a win for their team. Versus for the B2B side, we are really focusing on people who are true enterprises and will want the enterprise plan in the package. So I think when it comes to, so that's kind of just high level our goals and objectives. But when it comes to the tactics that align into those, a lot of what they like the other growth team does is really around feature-based selling. So because AI is such a hot commodity and there's so many competitors, it's like, oh, we have this new feature now. And another competitor is like, oh, we have this new feature. And that's kind of just like the way it kind of is in AI, with a lot of competitors releasing things like every other day. But on the enterprise side, we can't talk about things as like, here's a new feature, here's a new feature. Everything has to be based on like the why, like there's story to it, a lot of education on the value, the different use cases. So I think that's probably the main difference that I see between the PLG side of the business right now and the SLG side, where a lot of people coming in self-serve are already like AI enthusiasts, right? They want to like start trying it. They see Avatar 4 that we just released and like, oh my God, this is so great. And they're actually the ones who tell us what use cases our new features are for. Because like we go in building a new feature thinking that, this is going to be the use case that people use it for. But a lot of times people come up with new use cases that we never thought of. So I think it's a really interesting part of the business. And now on the enterprise side, I think the people and the teams that we work with are actually looking to us to tell them, hey, here's the value of HeyGen as a whole, not just this specific feature. Here's why you should be using HeyGen. And also like, here are the specific use cases that you can use us for.
Okay, I want to get into those, but I first want to talk about. So I want to do like a whole section on use cases for AI and video. There's a lot there, but I want to talk about what beyond HeyGen, like you running marketing for this part of the business. What tools you're using? What's working? What's the strategy? Just as someone who owns a number and you're trying to drive pipeline and generate revenue in this new world, what is your marketing? What are the pieces in the HeyGen, enterprise marketing playbook look like right now?
Yeah. So I think, typically there are 8 engines that you can activate. Right now we're activating replacing bets on 4 of them, which are paid social, account-based marketing, webinars, and field events. So those are kind of the 4 big bets that we're making.
What are the 8 engines? What are the 8 engines from? Is this like some chart? Is this like an Andrew Chen, like growth hacking, like chart or something?
No, but, okay, so let me try to see if I can. So it's SEO as one of them, paid search, paid social, account-based marketing. Okay. I said events. Webinar. Yep, events. Technically sponsored events, like be a separate one. And then I think the last one is, oh my gosh, what is the last one?
PR.
I think content is the last one.
Okay.
Yeah. Is that 8?
Something like that. 8.5, maybe. Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, and those are kind of how I typically just see like the overall engine, or the engines that we can activate. And I think as a startup, we really have to be a little bit choosy about which ones we test.
Yeah, and which of those are working, right? It's interesting to hear you say. Obviously, some of the usual suspects, paid social, webinars, but I'm curious if we dig into those tactics a little bit, like what is it about them that's working? If you could give me some examples. I'm like, I did that Marketing Institute, AI webinar with you. That seemed great. Just what else? What's working?
Yeah. So what's working so far has really been, it's honestly been like in-person events and just webinars in general. But I think, we kind of know like after COVID, a lot of people are like dying, like they want
in-person is so hot. So we have a big part of our business is sponsorships with Exit 5, and like, if I wanted to get on a plane, which I don't, if I want to get on a plane 2 or 3 times a month, we have so much demand for events right now. Everybody wants to do events. I feel that.
Yeah. Yeah. So like events is probably like one of the channels that's working really well. And this is kind of a balance of, sponsored events and also like owned events as well. So
let's talk about each of those. So like a sponsored event would be what, and what have you done?
Yeah. So sponsored event would be like there's a conference that you're sponsoring. So for example, we sponsored a conference called Abundance 360 in LA. And, we had a booth and we had a lot of people there to kind of help people understand and educate them on like what HeyGen is. So that is kind of a sponsored event where it's not owned and hosted by HeyGen, but we are sponsoring them in that sense. And then a hosted event is, so for example, a hosted event that we did was actually a hackathon. And this is more on like the API side of the business, but that had a really, really great turnout. And we also have hosted events when it comes to community members. So our community team hosts a lot of events as well.
And what makes a good like modern presence at one of these events? Is it just like your HeyGen, lots of people know about you and you're kind of doing this like AI video avatar thing? Or do you have to have a compelling like does the booth have to be good? Are you giving away money at the booth? Like how do you make it relevant other than, yeah, we're paying to sponsor something, but how do you make it actionable for both your prospects and for your company?
Yeah, I think it really depends on the audience who's there. But for example, Abundance 360, it was a bunch of executives. So what we did there was actually we have a partner called Proto Holograms, and we brought one of their huge like hologram machines to our booth actually, and we were able to have like my interactive avatar. We were able to have a couple of other people's interactive avatars actually live in the box so that people can interact with us in any language they want and they can like try it out. So people have reacted really, really well to that interactive component of the avatar piece. We also basically have like an avatar creation booth where like anybody can actually go in and create their own avatars, and people love that, especially executives. They're like, oh my gosh, like this is so cool. And they all wanted to create their own digital twin, which was great. So like I think having something that's unique or interactive is really important for the booths.
Yeah. Well, that's
Especially
what's so fun. Like to your point about like taking this job, right? It's like it's so fun to have a product that you can do creative marketing activations like that. Like yeah, it's not about that makes so it's not about like, yeah, come by our booth and we're going to give you some like cool swag. It's like, no, come by our booth and like we're going to actually make your AI avatar and we're going to demo the product. It's not some like, back office type of technology that's very tough to demo. You can actually do it and show people. That's super fun.
yeah, and people love it. Because I think a lot of times to your point, it's like, oh, we have these pens or we have these stickers, and we do still have those.
Of course.
But yeah, but I think that interactive piece is really important.
Okay, so that's a great takeaway. So trying to use the product at the booth. That was for sponsored events. And then are you like how are you measuring that as a return on that spend? Are you trying to like, do you have a sales team? Are you hammering on them to like try to book meetings from that? Like what's the output for Holly to know that was a good event for us in the enterprise segment?
Yeah, so this is actually a question that we had to answer and talk about more internally as well. But I think there's like a difference between more brand S type of events that is really just helping to drive awareness versus like demand generation type of events. And I actually didn't see Abundance 360 as more of the demand generation part. It was really more focused on like, okay, how do we get in front of these executives? How do we, help them understand what is HeyGen and like why HeyGen is so awesome? And so for me, Abundance 360 was already big success because we already created like hundreds of avatars for these executives. And like, can we nurture them after the event? Sure. I think that we can do that. But overall, I thought the Abundance 360 event was a success, just given the excitement around HeyGen and just the number of people who actually like try to get their avatars created.
Yeah, so it's like a decision tree in your mind of like not all events have the same purpose, and so we're going to this event for brand, and that means we want to get awareness, recognition. Also, I think going to events sometimes, being out in person, sometimes this is the underrated piece of events. Is like I feel like personally, I get to test my pitch and I get to have real conversations. And it's like, that's the stuff that you don't put in like the ROI calculator, but man, it's so meaningful. And I would come back from an event and I'm like so fired up. I'm like, oh, I reconnected with Holly. I met this person, da, 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 da. Like there's value in that, beyond just like, did we generate leads from that event? And then I also think there's a whole other part of this, which is like, pictures from the event, social proof, stuff you can post on social, follow up. That we don't always include that in the straight up ROI math,
Oh, for sure. And like another event that we actually did was South by Southwest. And that was for sure a pure brand event. And to your point, it was so amazing just to be able to test different pitches and see people's live reactions to like, oh, what is HeyGen? Oh, HeyGen's da da da. And that was really helpful to just kind of hear what questions people are asking, what they care about. I personally love going to events myself because I get to do this and I get to speak with, these prospects and customers.
Are you an extrovert or an introvert?
Oh my gosh, I am an introvert through and through.
But you love events.
But I love events. I just need to go back and decompress by myself and then I can go again.
I have this amazing video on my phone of my wife after after hosting Christmas at our house. Everybody left and she just was upstairs in our bed, like with all the pillows on her head, just like hiding under the sheets for 3 hours. And there's all these memes about, like your social battery being drained. And I'm the same way. I'm like a sneaky like extrovert. I'll talk to you, but then after I'll be like, what the hell just happened to me? I feel like a demon just came through me. I was like, oh yeah, your battery's empty right now.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, for putting on your own events, have you done HeyGen hosted events outside of sponsored events?
We have. So we've done a lot of community events because we have a lot of community users already. We are planning to do marketing executive, like more executive sit downs and like, dinners and all of that. But for the most part, it's been a lot of community events.
What is that? Do you have a community? Is there like a HeyGen community that you all started?
Yes, we do have a HeyGen community. A lot of our users are in the community actually. And the community is great. Dave, you can probably use the community too as you're starting to think about like, how do I use this? How do I, add pauses? How do I add intonations and stuff like that?
Where is it hosted?
It's hosted on, it's called a tool called Gradual. But if you search HeyGen community, you'll be able to get to that.
Okay, cool. And do you have people that kind of maintain that and help with programming, or is it just like a forum to like ask, support questions?
Yeah, great question. We have two people on the community team right now who is kind of managing the community, creating these events, engaging with our community members and all of that.
And you want to do more executive level stuff.
Yeah. So I think it's like, we're already doing a bunch of these events for our existing users. How do we get one step higher to, do events with prospects as well?
Okay. What else is anything not working that maybe worked back in the day at Eventbrite or, Drift or whatever else? Like, have you seen anything change that like, yeah, this is not really a channel that's working for us right now?
SEO.
Ooh,
I feel like
this is a hot topic.
It is. Every marketing leader I've spoken with has shared some form of like a drop in their SEO traffic because of LLM. So right now the big question is like, okay, it's dropping, but how do we supplement that? And I think there's actually been a few clever ways. Like one marketing leader I spoke with was talking about, how do we start using more YouTube, right? Like, and this is why videos are so important because then YouTube can become like supplement to the SEO channels. There's just a lot of creative ideas, and I think nobody knows what the answer is, but we're just all trying a lot of different things.
Yeah, I saw somebody post something the other day about it was from Google Search Console, and it was basically showing like impressions continue to rise, but clicks continue to drop because now, and this isn't even related to ChatGPT, it's just Google's AI. If I go ask something, actually, this just happened before. Remember, I told you I was making this video and I wanted to bleep it out, and so I just typed into Google. I said, "Can I do a bleep in HeyGen?" And it gave me the answer in the AI overview area, and that's search that you'll never see and you'll never have a piece of, and so it's the whole thing is crazy to me. It's not just about like traffic from SEO. There's like, if you keep clicking into that, it's like all of the discussions around marketing measurement and attribution. Like if all of our questions get answered by AI or, Google search or, whatever tool, then how do we know what to give credit for? Ultimately people are just going to buy your thing. And then along the way, you're going to have to like, well, I don't even know. Do we get credit for that? They ask a question at some point. It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know what the answer is, but I think in the next few months, like people are going to start figuring it out. And I think it's going to be a whole new wave of marketing tactics coming.
Probably. And when you say SEO is not working, so are there things that you're not doing at HeyGen that you probably would have done in the past because of that from a content standpoint?
I don't know. I don't necessarily know if it's not like things that we're not doing because I think we're doing a lot of the things right, right? We're creating a lot of thought leadership blogs. We're leveraging SEO keywords. I think we're doing things right. It's really just this like rise in LLMs. And to your point, like the AI Google solution as well, that's preventing a lot of the click-throughs that we typically get to drive inbound traffic to the site. And so yeah, I think it's there's just like a whole different market landscape now that we all have to like kind of adjust to with this like rise of AI.
What else? Oh, okay. This is the other thing. So you're leading marketing at this AI, AI first company, one of the AI startups, right? Your founder, CEO is an engineer, is building an AI. Has that impacted like the company view on how HeyGen should do marketing? Like, are you being pushed to use more AI tools, to use more AI in marketing, to have AI agents instead of employees? You know what question I'm trying to ask there? Like, if it's a founder that comes up in the AI world, when you're in there talking to him about the marketing stack and the marketing plays, I'm guessing that it's got to be a lot of bias towards like, we believe in AI and we're going to run marketing with an AI playbook here.
I think it's I think it's more so around efficiency, like AI in the sense of efficiency. So how do we be more efficient? How do we, instead of investing in, 10 additional headcounts, can we do 5 additional headcounts, but also leverage like these AI tools to help us be more efficient? So I think it's more around that efficiency piece. However, I will say one thing that's been really new for me coming to HeyGen, working with Joshua, is that instead of working in quarters, we actually work in sprint cycles. So the sprint cycles are 2-month cycles. And I never thought I would say this, but it's actually been a game changer because the shorter cycles mean, quicker feedback loops. So we can test our hypotheses, measure what's working, and fast if we need to. And then it also keeps our team aligned with just evolving market needs, just like seeing how fast the AI market moves. Like we need to also keep up to adjust messaging, all the creatives, channels, stuff like that. So that's been one thing that's been really interesting because we're kind of matching the way product and engineering works on the marketing side, and it's been working pretty well. It's allowed us to be really flexible and move
I think
fast.
that's a hugely underrated element is the alignment. I talk about this all the time. The alignment between marketing and product inside of the company. I think we talk so much online and about in marketing about marketing and sales got to get aligned. Da da da. But I think when marketing and product are aligned, like to me, product is like the heartbeat and the rhythm of the company, and marketing needs to be aligned with them because whether it's every week, every month, every quarter, whatever it is, whether you're Salesforce lining up to Dreamforce every year, HubSpot lining up to inbound, and then you have quarterly releases on top of that, I think just builds the right type of like operating rhythm and cadence. And yes, as a marketer, my job is to tell the story of the company, but I need something. I need some ammo. I need some features, some new stuff coming out from product. And we can't really tell a good story and share the vision if we don't have a strong roadmap. And so that seems like the right cadence. Every couple of months you have a launch and we're working on the next wave of this thing. Plus it gets you out of the kind of like weekly, we're changing everything weekly. We know that every 2 months something is going to change and we're going to kind of run in a campaign, run on campaigns that are every couple months, right?
Yeah, definitely. And that's not to say like the product team does, like our product team ships every single day pretty much. And that's one of the things I'm trying to align with them on of like, okay, does it make sense for us to just every single time we have something ready, do we just release it and like quote unquote launch it, or do we package it up into a bigger story? And I think every single company has this challenge initially of, okay, but we want to move fast. We want to show that we're innovating, which is totally true and so relevant in this AI space. But at the same time, and maybe it's a different audiences, right? For creators and these AI influencers, they want things coming as soon as possible. But for more enterprise, like bigger enterprises, they need the packaged story. Otherwise, they don't know what Avatar 4 does or like why they should care about it.
What AI tools besides HeyGen as a marketer, especially someone with a coming up kind of from a product marketing and marketing ops background, what AI tools are you using?
Yeah. So, I mean, at the most basic level, ChatGPT, Perplexity, those are my best friends. Like I probably use ChatGPT every single day, even if it's just like, give me something to start with. And I think there's a difference between using ChatGPT and relying on it solely and using it as like a guiding or just like somebody to bounce ideas off of. And I think a lot of people tend to do the former, where it's way more powerful to do the latter because you still have so much knowledge and so much context that ChatGPT doesn't have. And that's honestly one of the mistakes I'm seeing. Like I'm actually hiring for SDRs and we had pre-qualifying questions. And it's so obvious when somebody just like puts the prompt into ChatGPT and just copies and pastes the GPT answer. But yeah, ChatGPT, I use it every single day. It's
It's
great.
funny because I caught myself. I asked that question, and then like I made this little graphic the other day. There used to be this like iPod ad. It was like 1,000 songs in your pocket, and I took the OpenAI logo and I made it, and I said 1,000 apps in your pocket because every week the ChatGPT is getting better and it is replacing lots of other apps. But on your point of writing. Just this morning, we have like a new product that we're working on, and I have been working on the pitch, and I reached out to 10 CMOs that I want to get into this thing that we're doing, and I wrote my message, the email copy that I was going to put, and I put it in ChatGPT and I put it in Claude, and I kind of got the middle version of it, but I didn't really like it, and so I just went with what I wrote. And I think ultimately that is the hard part, is like relying on, like, knowing when it's not good, just because it helped me get from 0 to 1 and get started. But the version that I got from that was not one that I wanted to press send on. And so, like, I kind of like this intro from Claude and I took that, but I like my middle section, but this ChatGPT kind of had a better outro. And then I end up putting it all together in like that's my mishmash, like what I end up sending out. And so I hear you on that.
Yeah. You know what I realized too? Gemini 2.5 has gotten a lot better. So I'm like, the main tools I use are like Gemini and ChatGPT. And I do the same thing where I compare, like give me some ideas. Um, and I would say Gemini, don't sleep on it. It's pretty good.
Do you have that because like your company has did you buy the plan on your own, or is it part of the G Suite?
For the G Suite. Yeah.
So you got it for the company. Yeah, interesting. This is the hard part though, is like I see this stuff and I'm like, now I'm going to be like, oh, do I need to spend my afternoon now messing around in Gemini? It's just it's nonstop.
Yeah, like testing these new tools, usually there's like one or two prompts that you just use across all of them, and you just see like what each of these tools turn out. But it's really fascinating. I think it's going to be it's already a game changer, but I'm really excited to see what this is going to enable all of us to do.
Let's talk about some of the use cases for AI and video and avatars in video. I heard you say AI influencers, and it's like, wait a second. Oh yeah, there's probably people that are fully AI influencers that are using HeyGen, and like we don't know what their real face is. And earlier in this podcast, you mentioned all of the long tail use cases for AI video. So I'd love to just hear like what you all are hearing from customers, how people are using the product.
Yeah, for sure.
Teach us.
I mean, I think typically, I would say for the majority of the use cases, they are going to be marketing related. So things like product explainer videos, social media, ads, how-to videos. Event marketing has actually been a newer one that's been popping up, where it's like you can create, using HeyGen, you can create like event promos, or you can create personalized emails of, like, let's say, Dave, you're speaking at an event, and it's Dave thanking Holly, who just registered for the event, to say, "Hey, Holly, thank you for registering. I'm so excited to see you at the event. We'll be talking about X, Y, and Z." And so I think I think personally, that's a really cool use case, because we all want to personalize more, and events is a huge one where you can drive a lot more engagement with personalized videos. And then same thing for like post events. So those are kind of the new ones that are somewhat popping up in the past couple of months.
And is the goal for like the quality of those should be so good that you don't know if that was Dave in my phone, like that I made that, or I used my avatar to make it?
Exactly. Yeah. And I will say, I can confidently say that most people who are using HeyGen to create their videos, their audience is not going to know what's real and what's not. Like, for example, we had a keynote or inaugural keynote a couple of weeks ago at HeyGen, and our CEO used his avatar for parts of his keynote. And people were like, "Oh, like, no, this is real. This is fake. No, this is definitely," like, it's so funny watching the comments, and so great, because people just can't tell. And it's kind of true. You really can't tell the difference between, is this a real person talking or is this an avatar? Um, and I think that's kind of the magic of HeyGen, and enabling you to create these videos that don't feel fake and feel really authentic, right?
Well, there's so many times that like I've had to make a 1 to 2 minute video to promote something or to and when I really need to do a good job, I don't freestyle it. I write out a script and I kind of sit there, and now I have this like setup with a prompter and whatever, and I can look right at it and read it. But it still takes work. I got to turn on all the lights. I got to turn on the camera. I got to set up everything. I got to sit down. I got to put my nice clothes on. I got to put a real shirt on and record. A world where I can just like, I got to write the copy anyway, and I can write some prompts in ChatGPT to get the copy. Like, that's an amazing use case, is to basically, hey, let's make a 2 minute video of Dave of me promoting our event that we're doing in Vermont. And I always go back to like, I see all this discussion about like, does it matter if it was made by a human or AI? And I think in a use case like this, you're not trying to trick someone and say like, I'm a human. Not trying to trick you. I'm trying to just do better content at scale without having to like sit down and pull out my phone every time.
Oh, for sure. And one of the objections when I first joined HeyGen that I heard a lot was, oh, but I don't know if my audience is going to be ready for an AI video, like for us to use AI in our videos. And so we actually ran an AI consumer report. And the insight was very clear of like, people are ready for it, right? Like people are likely to respond really positively to your brand if you use AI video. Now, if it looks and feels really fake, that's another story. But I think people are generally
Right.
very receptive to.
Well, like that's where it gets caught up though, is like just even the term AI video. Like what if you could just type words and have a video get created? How many
Which is
marketers would say yes to that? And so it's like the real challenge is like, can the HeyGen product be good enough where you can't tell if it's an AI or human? Like, of course, I don't want a robot looking Dave pretending to be Dave and everybody knows that it's not really me. But if I can write prompts and I can write a script and we can match my voice and I can create little video snippets and promos like that way, that is an amazing way to work, I believe.
Oh, absolutely. And we actually just rolled out controllability features because I think a lot of times, with AI, it's a black box where you type in a prompt or you type in something and you don't really know what the output is actually going to be. Versus with the controllability features, you can actually prompt it to say wave. Like you can add it, like if you want your avatar to wave, you can have him wave. You can also like prompt it to do different gestures, like whatever gesture you want, like mind blown gesture or like whatever it is you want. So you can control that now directly in HeyGen.
Okay, so that's a good use case. What else? What are the long tail? What are some of the other use cases here? Mainly marketing makes sense. Okay.
Mainly marketing, L&D, so a lot of how-to training videos. What's funny,
Oh, interesting. Yeah. So like I can do all my support videos, all my knowledge based videos with writing prompts as opposed to, yeah, that's great. Okay.
yeah, and think about like sales enablement, right? Like before, I had to basically create the PDF and then I have to do a live training with everyone. But with HeyGen, once you create the PDF, you can automatically turn that into a video. So you actually don't even need to type a script. You just upload your PDF and we'll turn it into like a training video with like your avatar. So it makes it really, really easy and fast. A couple of other ones I thought were really interesting, very long tail use cases are actually music videos, which I know you checked it out. And the other one is actually fortune telling. So like horoscopes.
Wait. Hold on. What do you mean? What do you mean fortune telling?
Like if I'm a Libra, right? So it's like,
Okay, I'm a Gemini.
yeah. So the person would then be like, oh, as a Libra for the week of whatever, like June 16th, you're going to be, your favorite color is pink or whatever it is. So it's kind of like that type of fortune telling.
Yeah, I'm trying to work on my HeyGen to be like my rapper alter ego. I'm working on that. That's so stay tuned. Stay tuned.
We'll actually use us for these like rap music videos.
I believe it. I
Yeah.
believe it. Listen, my friend Ding, shout out to Ding, Ding the sales rapper. He runs Event Shark. He's amazing. And he's like, I gotta ghostwrite some stuff for you. We're gonna do something ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's
It's great.
fun though. I understand. I'm sure people will listen to this and they will roll their eyes. And I've seen the posts of like AI is the worst thing ever. Da 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 da. Look, only time will tell. I just feel like I feel like this would be like not using the internet in like the late 90s to run your business. And yes, you can say that's how it always, everything worked fine before, da da da. We all, what about all the jobs in the creative? I think that we're going to find a way. And I think we humans have a way of continuing to like reinvent ourselves and figuring out where this technology fits in our lives. And so I'm trying to be an optimist and say like what you have in front of you right now, Dave, is the opportunity of like you can be one of the first people to like understand how to use the internet to run your business, and that's what you're going to do with AI. And so I'm trying to lean in as hard as I can.
Oh, for sure. And I truly believe that AI, it actually enables creativity. AI as a whole helps the humans like actually unleash the creativity. And with HeyGen specifically, we're not meant to replace humans, but it's meant to make it much easier for them to create the videos. So the way we see it is that you as a human provides the creativity as the input. So like, what is a story? right? And then the AI takes your creativity to then create the video as the output. So the future is really a world where anybody can, and everybody can spend more time doing the creative and strategic work and less time actually making the content. And that's kind of how I've always thought about AI, of like not necessarily replacing humans, but it's there to help support our creativity.
I dig it. I hope we're right. Holly, thank you for hanging out with me. This was lovely. This was great. I can't wait to share. I can't wait to share my ridiculous
I can't wait
projects with you.
to.
I'm more likely to now take you up on the offer of like going to LA and doing the real shebang because it's very fun. And I can only imagine what it would be like. But hey, go find Holly on LinkedIn, connect with her there, send her a note, ask her questions about HeyGen or just what she's up to. She's a good person to know and connect with. Holly, good to see you. Thanks for hanging out with me on my podcast. I appreciate it.
Of course. Thanks for having me, Dave.